Hello and welcome back to KBB University with me, Aaron Johnsfield. In this video, we're going to talk about the KBB business model and which one is right for you, because there's a number of ways to trade in the sector. And it's just important to get your head into the space of how you want to run your business and know what the options are. And I mean, you probably know this stuff already, but it's just thought-provoking stuff that's going to help you decide where you want to go in the long term. Based on the things that are, the options that are available to you. So the purpose of the presentation is to understand the different ways to trade, work out which model is best for you in the short term and the long term, because you might transition from one to the next, to the next, to the next, which is what most of us do. Understand where you might be now is not where you may end up. As I've just said, you might move through the different gears and keep going forward, or you might decide just to stay where you are or get to a certain point and stay there, whatever. But let's look at the options. And then we'll look at how to prioritize important steps and not to waste time and energy on stuff that's not taking us where we want to be. So introduction, I'm sure you may have watched some videos already, but I've been around for 20 years. I've had my business for 10 years, construction industry. We're a multi-award winning business in retail and contracts. We're a 7-figure business and growing. We did 1,200 installs in 2022. We're going to do about 1,600 in 2023 and beyond. So we're a growing business of our own, do a lot of installation work. And I'm the founder of KBB Supply Services with a vision to change the industry, which is basically to get you guys being independent, so you can offer your own supply and fit service, and then we can take control of the industry and get the money coming to you instead of the other big players who take the cash and, leave us lot sort of scrambling around. We want to change that. So ways to trade in the KBB sector. Let's get into the content. So we've got one, we can be on the tools on our own. We can be on the tools with a small team, or we can be off the tools with a team, or off the tools with a showroom. I know that sometimes there's a mixture of all those things, but generally they're the 4 categories that you will find yourself in at different stages of your career. Obviously, we all start at stage 1, and then if we desire to have a showroom at the end of our process or multiple showrooms, then obviously that's up to us at the end of the day. So trading in the sector. So how to trade on the tools. I've done a table here, which is the pros and the cons and the earning potentials. So on the tools, we can earn anywhere between 150 and 400 pounds a day. I know there'll be variables. Some can do less or worse than that, but as a general guide, that's where most people sit. The pros of that is it's comfortable and predictable. The cons is it's time for money and limited earnings. If you need to pick your tools up to do a job and earn money that way, obviously there's a limitation there straight away. Earning potential 35k to 90k, and then we've got on the tools with a team. So a basis on 3 installs. The pros are higher earnings. It's the first step to wealth in the long term. And the cons, as always, are elevated stress, longer working hours, learning curves, and an awkward workload, because when we've got to sort of juggle the two, it is difficult. So we have to be prepared that that's going to happen. But the earnings jumps up with it. So you're looking at 107 to 162k based on earnings of 24 jobs making £3,000 each per job per year. Again, I've used averages and variables that will need to be applied for your area, the amount of jobs that you do, but that's typical. Then we've got off the tools with a team. So the pros are you've got more time to work on the business, because obviously you're now off the tools. You'll usually get a better work-life balance, because if you don't go into work that day, the world still keeps spinning. Whereas before, if you didn't go into work, everything stopped. So getting off the tools with a team is obviously the holy land if we can get there, because it's just better for everybody, including your family. But the cons obviously are more responsibility and higher risk, because at this point you're running a business, you've got more responsibility basically. So you just have to take on it, everything that comes with it. Everything comes at a cost, nothing's ever free. So if you want that work-life balance, you're going to have to take higher stress levels in different departments moving forward. Nothing's going to be handed to you on a plate. But the earning potential's there. I've put 108k to 216k based on 3 to 6 jobs a month, making £3,000 profit. 3 to 6 jobs a month. So obviously I'm applying a bigger variable now because you're off the tools. Between 3 and 6 jobs, it's doable. Above 6 can be a bit hectic. Been there. On the retail, I'm talking about retail there. Decent sized retail projects. 6 is a nice number. 8 to 10 gets a bit much. Sometimes it's not worth it. So, it's always worth thinking about how far you actually want to go. Then you got showroom. So as above, but now you've got a high street presence, which is a pro. That's whether it's a true pro is another thing. But then you've got the large overheads that come with it, which is a massive con. Because, I've seen people with showrooms that earn less money than people without them. So, depends on what your ambitions are. But if it's bottom line profit, a showroom doesn't always give you that. And it can be more hassle than what it's worth. And as I've put in the earning potential, it will mirror the above, just with more costs to pay out. That's generally my experience of it. People that have showrooms tend to look like they're doing better, but when you look at the numbers, there's people with small studios, lockups, that are sort of in the off the tools with a team category, maybe with a bit of an area to show customers product, usually do better. So, you just have to watch your numbers very closely if you're going to go into the showroom category. So which one's for you? Well, first understand this is all your choice. It's completely up to you where you go with this, but we just need to start in the right place and aim where we want to be. Obviously, my advice would be get to off the tools with a team. I think you'd be happy there. If a showroom came available and the numbers worked, there's no reason to not do it. But there's things that you could do to make it more cost effective, which we'll come on to in a moment. So how much do you want to earn? What lifestyle do you want? And where do you want to be? Because that's all up to you. This is your choice now. So it's a case of, do you recognize yourself or your future self in this table? Because we're always developing all the time. So who we are and where we are now isn't the person or the place that we're going to be in a few years' time. And we need to be aware that development is constantly happening. You might turn around and go, well, I'm 45. Well, when you're 50, it's still going to be different. Things are still going to change in your life. The skills you could start picking up now that mean that you could develop tons further. So age isn't a barrier. People tend to use it as one, but it's bullshit, really. It's give yourself time to do anything, you'll do it. So just bear that in mind. Don't be afraid. So which one's for you? So I'm going to talk about who should and who shouldn't. So again, recognizing yourself in the table and knowing, is this me or is this my future self? This is what I aspire to do. So on the tools, so who should? Well, everyone starts here, don't they? So I've put who shouldn't. Obviously, people who can't do it, but that doesn't apply to you as a kitchen fitter, because you can. But who everyone sort of starts here. So on the tools with a team. So who should take this on? You really have to be open-minded, ambitious, have a need to get off the tools is usually a good thing. Good people skills and a good communicator. They're the sort of base skills that you should have, because if you've got a team around you and you're lacking any of those things, you're going to struggle. So if you're looking at that going, I haven't got a team, but I'm all those things, then you've got the traits to do it. Who shouldn't? If you've got these traits, maybe think again or work on these weaknesses. But pessimists, moaners, people with no patience, and people with poor people skills, because you won't get a team around you if you're moaning yourself, because you're the leader. You can't be the one that's moaning, or you can, but just about the right things. You can't be a downer and negative and dragging your team down with you. They won't work for you. they'll just get sick of you. So you will just come unstuck. So you're gonna have to hold things in. If you are a moaner and you are lacking a bit of patience and people skills, work on it. Know that that's your weakness. Improve it. Because again, if you're gonna struggle to get people around you, if you've got a moaning character and no patience, people skills, and pessimists, pessimists are always looking on the shit side of everything. If you can't see the positive in things, and everything's a downer, then I've never met a successful pessimist. Let's put it that way, because they never move forward with stuff. There's always a reason to not do it. The grass is never greener. And sometimes you can deal with that, but a lot of the times you can't. So just recognize yourself here. If you're the first one and you've got those first traits, and they're your strongest traits, then yeah, because we all moan, we all sort of flip flop between these things. But if it's which is the dominant set of traits in your character, and knowing yourself, and if you're willing to work on the traits that are going against you, then that will help move forward. As above, so off the tools with a team, because obviously now you're going up another level again. So it's really important at this point now to be even more open-minded. So as above, people who should traits is desire to always learn and adapt, because the industry changes all the time, and new skills will be required every 12 to 18 months in marketing, technology, staying close to people that are successful to make sure that you're improving your business all the time and staying up to the market. But if you're off the tools and you've got the time to do this stuff, this isn't difficult. Get close to us. We'll always keep you informed on the best ways to do things. A lot of this we're going to do with you and for you in many cases. And again, who shouldn't? We're going to go back to pessimists, moaners, people with no patience, people with no people skills. Again, same categories before, but this time I'm adding in technophobes with no intention to change. And what I mean there is people who won't embrace technology. It's 2023 at the time of making this video, and technology is accelerating rapidly. If you're sat in that camp of, I'm not getting involved in technology and I'm going to stay out of it, then you will probably work for the people until you die, because the people that embrace technology will run everything, because that's where everything's going. And the ones that embrace it the most and get over the barriers of, well, I don't want to learn that, or whatever the fear is, it has to be overcome. Technology is something we have to get to grips with, especially if we want to compete with the bigger businesses, because they're all over it. And it's not that difficult. This is simple stuff, and a lot of it you'll find in the KBB University on how to do most of this stuff to keep up with the big boys. But if you just point blank technophobe, won't go there, then I'm sorry, but I think you'll be doomed in terms of trying to achieve this, unless you've got someone with you who can help you do that. And that person probably won't be cheap. If they're a business partner, I'm not a fan of that, if I'm honest. I think that if you're a fitter, an ex-fitter, business person, you shouldn't really need a partner in this. And these businesses generally don't get big enough to warrant two sets of wages of, he's not going to fund two lifestyles of people. Well, he could do, but, you'd have to be thinking way above what these numbers are. So you would have to look at, taking this on yourself with people who can help you, who aren't going to cost you a fortune. And then showroom. So who should, if you've got a high appetite for risk and you're already established, then yeah, go for a showroom. And again, the who shouldn't traits is just as it was before, because that won't change. But a showroom does bring more risk because you've got more standing costs. If it's quiet, what we've seen through COVID and all the rest of it, we just don't know what's around the corner. So, and again, you have to weigh up what's a showroom going to put on the bottom line of a business, because if it's going to cost you $2,000 a month in rent, money for a design, or however you decide to structure that business up, you're going to have to win more jobs just to pay for it. So sometimes you've got to weigh that up and think, is it worth it? Profit there's a saying, turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. And you always want to look at what's going to bring you the most profit. Don't just think, oh, well, because the thing is that the truth here is you could earn more money turning over 300 to 500 grand than you will make. You'll make more money probably there than you will if you're turning over £1,000,000. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's true, because when you get to a point of like 6, 7, 8, 900 grand and above, your costs go through the roof. And it's a different world at that point. And I can tell you, you can earn more money with a lower turnover, and just always be focused on your profits, not your turnover. That's the number you need to look at. Don't be fooled by thinking bigger turnover means bigger profit, because it doesn't. So how to move things forward. So if you're on the tools and you want how to improve, so if you want to stay there but you want to move up to the higher bracket of the earnings, then offering your own products, your own brochures, making more money per job, using your design service that we give you and the KBB University. Because even if you don't want to do more work or take on more stuff, you could earn more money just by staying where you are, but just doing things a bit differently. So just streamlining your process using the KBB University, making sure you're organising your paperwork, you're quoting right. There's more money usually to squeeze out of the current business. People want to make more money. There's usually ways to make more money with the business they've already got before they need to look at growing. And your business will be the same. Whatever you're doing right now, so if you're fitting labour-only jobs and all the rest of it, if you were just supplying your own products and you were making an extra £2,000 on every job, well, that would be enough. That is growth without having to do any more work. So again, if you want to improve your on the tools situation, that's all you need to do. If you're on the tools with a team, but you want to improve that business, again, you can look at the next step and go, right, now I'm going to get a proper website. I'm going to automate simple processes, value my time, because now I need more time to do other things. Learn marketing and processes, recruit a team, and use all the KBB University videos to make sure that you're streamlining that business. And obviously you'll then go to the higher bracket of those earnings in that category. Off the tools with a team, then you need to improve that. It's just improving everything. Because if you've got to the point where you're off the tools with a team, then you probably have got a website. You've probably done some business automation of processes, and because you wouldn't have got there otherwise. So you must have done something right to get there. But then it's a case of improving everything all the time. Keep learning, keep growing your skills in management, technology, processes, and marketing. And again, that will push your numbers up to the higher earning potential in that bracket also. So if you've got a showroom, again, making more money there is make it appointment only and have a digital first survey model. So what we look at there is, say, instead of having your showroom open all the time, which is ridiculous really, you want to make it so your website's good, you got people booking online, you go and see them first, and then you invite them into your showroom as an appointment only. And then you only open that showroom when that customer's coming in. That's a way of keeping the cost of that showroom lower, a lot lower than having the lights and the heating on all day and someone sat there waiting for customers to come in. It's not a great strategy, and it's old-fashioned. It's old-fashioned. People come in wasting your time. They're usually shopping with someone else, but they come in to sort of scout you out. The conversion rate on walk-ins in a showroom isn't massive. It definitely doesn't warrant the cost, in my opinion. But again, if the showroom you can get fitted, you can get it in your numbers and it's reasonable. You got a little unit somewhere, there are exceptions. I'm not saying it applies to everyone and it's not worth it for everyone, but I would at least make it appointment only and make sure that people book a survey first before they come in to see you. So you're not spending hours with someone, where you haven't even been out to the house yet to see what's possible. And that's the danger with that. People come in and waste your time. And you need to make sure that doesn't happen. So it's all about where you want to be. You can make serious money or make excuses, but you can't make both. And that is a really, really true saying. You get people who make money and they do come up against problems, but they don't make excuses. They'll find ways around those problems and they'll make money. It's as simple as that. And people who spit out excuses all the time don't make money. So therefore, you can't make both. You'll either be one or the other. And we all moan sometimes. Don't get me wrong, and make excuses when things don't go right. But we need to get out of that mindset quickly and get back to the task, get some help, or do what we need to do, and crack on with it. So just to recap on that, where do you want to be? You've got 4 options. You've got on the tools with your team, off the tools with your team, or your showroom. And there's your pros and cons and earning potentials that go with it. So this is more thought-provoking content. I just want you to think about stuff like this and make a plan for the future to go, I'm going to go for that category there, and then review it when I get there. And really, even if you're on the tools now doing labor only work, I think off the tools with a team is achievable within 12 to 24 months. Possibly less time than that. It all depends how committed you are and how much open-mindedness you're going to have to make it happen. But it's all possible. There's enough work in this industry to just pick whichever one of them you want and just say, right, go for it. Email us and go, I've watched your video, I want to go there, I'm currently here, how do we do it? That's what we're here for. So have a think about that. And thank you for watching. Keep checking back to the KBB University. Email us at trade@KBB Supply Services or marketing@KBB Supply Services, and one of us will get back to you. Let us know what you're having problems with or if you need any help. Okay. All right. So we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.